Have you ever sat across the room from someone you love, maybe your mom, your granddad, a dear neighbor in their 70s, and thought to yourself, how long do they really have left? Not in a dark or depressing way, but in that quiet moment of reflection when you're folding laundry or making tea. You look up, and suddenly, time feels real. Precious. Fleeting. Maybe they've started moving a bit slower. Maybe they forgot something they've never forgotten before. Maybe they've just been quieter lately. And deep down, you're wondering, is this just aging, or is it something more? See, most people think that death or decline comes suddenly, out of nowhere. But the truth is, the body whispers long before it shouts. Little clues, subtle changes, small shifts, these things tell a story. And if you know what to look for, you won't be caught off guard. You'll know when to step in. You'll know how to love better, care smarter, and prepare your heart and your home for what's ahead. Because here's the thing, it's not about fearing the end. It's about making every remaining year, every day, count. And sometimes, those precious years after 70 are where the richest memories are made. But only if we notice the signs in time. In this video, I'm going to walk you through 7 scientifically proven signs that can predict how long someone may live after 70. Some of these signs are easy to miss. Others might surprise you. But each one is like a window, giving you insight into the future health of someone you care deeply about. This could change how you talk to them, how you plan their meals, how you sit beside them during the quiet hours of the day. So before we dive in, I want to hear from you. Comment "still strong at 70+ if you or someone you love is in this season of life, vibrant, wise, and still going. And while you're here, don't forget to subscribe to Seniors Care for more gentle, grounded guidance on elderly care and lifelong health. Because the more we know, the better we love. Let's get started. Let's begin with sign number 1, walking speed, something so simple, most people don't even think twice about it. But you should. Picture this. Uncle Ray. He used to be the one at the front of every family stroll. Walking stick in one hand, grandkids racing ahead, and that half smile like he knew every shortcut in the neighborhood. But then, slowly, almost without notice, he wasn't leading anymore. He was lagging. Steps a little shorter. Breaks a little more frequent. And one day, he quietly asked to stay home instead of joining the walk. Said his knees hurt. Said he was just tired. And that's how it starts. Now here's what science tells us, walking speed is more than just a pace. It's one of the most powerful predictors of longevity after 70. When a person walks slower than they used to, it's often a sign of decreased muscle mass, reduced cardiovascular endurance, and even neurological slowing. Their whole system, heart, lungs, brain, isn't coordinating the way it used to. In fact, several large studies have found a strong correlation between slower gait speed and higher mortality risk. The slower the steps, the more fragile the body is becoming, inside and out. But here's where many families go wrong. They shrug it off. They say, it's just old age, or of course she's slowing down, she's 75. And yes, aging brings natural changes, but not sudden ones. Not sharp drop-offs. And definitely not avoidance of things that once brought joy. See, when someone starts slowing down without any obvious reason, it's not just about muscles. It could mean balance issues. It could mean heart problems. Even early cognitive changes. So what can you do? Don't panic. Don't force. Just observe. Start by gently encouraging short walks around the block or down the hallway. Make it a routine, same time each day, same shoes, same pace. Use supportive shoes. Clear the floors of tripping hazards. And most importantly, talk to their doctor. Sometimes a change in meds or simple physical therapy can do wonders. You can even turn it into connection time. Hold their hand. Let them set the pace. What matters is movement, gentle, safe, and consistent. Because a body in motion tends to stay in motion. And a slowdown is never just a slowdown, it's a message. But mobility isn't everything. What about the strength to get up and go? Not just from the couch, but through the rest of life? Let's talk about that next. Sign number 2, grip strength. This one often goes unnoticed. It doesn't show up in conversation, and it doesn't make headlines. But sometimes, it shows up in a hug. I remember it clearly. This past year, Nana hugged me, like always. Only this time, it felt different. Not bad. Not cold. Just lighter. Less of that firm, comforting squeeze she was known for. The kind that made you feel safe, no matter how old you were. At first, I thought I was imagining it. But the next time, it was the same. And deep down, I knew. Something had changed. You see, grip strength isn't just about how tightly someone can hold your hand. It's actually a powerful reflection of the body's overall strength and vitality. According to multiple studies, low grip strength in older adults is one of the most accurate predictors of early mortality. Even more than blood pressure or body weight in some cases. Why? Because it reflects muscle mass, nervous system function, and even organ health. The hands are often the first place to show weakness because they're used so often. When someone struggles to open a jar, carry a grocery bag, or hold on to a railing, they're not just losing grip. They might be losing resilience. But here's the catch, most people write it off. They think, well, of course she can't carry heavy bags anymore. She's getting older. Or they assume it's arthritis, or just being tired. And while those things can play a role, it's not the full story. Grip strength is connected to so much more: balance, stability, independence. It tells us whether someone is still able to catch themselves if they stumble. Whether they can safely hold on to a stair rail. Whether they'll keep the confidence to live life on their terms. So what can you do? Start small. Encourage hand exercises, simple ones. Like squeezing a softball a few times a day. Or using a resistance band. Even playing with dough, kneading bread, or doing light gardening. These aren't just pastimes, they're strength training in disguise. And don't forget the nutritional side. Muscles need protein to stay strong, especially after 70. Think soft-boiled eggs, yogurt, lentils, or fish, easy to eat, high-quality protein. It's not about building bulk, it's about preserving ability. Because when you strengthen the hands, you're not just helping someone open a jar. You're helping them hold on to independence, to dignity, to life itself. But as important as that is, there's something else we need to talk about. Something even quieter. Something many families overlook until it's too late. Let's move on to that next. Sign number 3, appetite and weight loss. This one hits close for so many families. And I remember it well. My mother had always been a careful eater. She liked her portions light, her meals simple. But one day, we noticed she wasn't finishing her meals at all. Her favorite soup? Barely touched. Her beloved tea? Left cold in the cup. We told ourselves she was just being picky. Maybe the food was too salty. Maybe she wasn't in the mood. We kept making excuses. Until the clothes got looser. The ring slipped off. And the weight loss became undeniable. Here's what many people don't realize: appetite loss in seniors is not just a phase. Especially when it leads to unintentional weight loss. After age 70, losing weight without trying can be a red flag, one that signals muscle wasting, nutrient deficiencies, or even serious internal disease like cancer, heart failure, or kidney issues. And yet, so often, it's brushed aside. You hear things like, well, it's good she's eating less, right? Or, he's finally shedding some of that belly. But this isn't the same as healthy weight loss in younger people. For older adults, sudden or steady weight loss means the body is breaking down faster than it's rebuilding. That means weaker muscles. weaker immunity, weaker organs. It's not just about being thin, it's about what the body is losing underneath the surface. So what can you do? First, don't force food. That only builds resistance. Instead, offer small, frequent meals that are rich in protein and calories. Think soft-boiled eggs, mashed sweet potatoes, smoothies with nut butter, even fortified soups. Make every bite count. And don't forget hydration. Dehydration can suppress appetite and lead to fatigue. If the weight loss is noticeable, especially within weeks or months, get labs done. Check for inflammation, nutrient deficiencies, and any organ dysfunction. Even if they insist they're fine. Sometimes they say that because they don't want to worry you. And while we're talking about energy, there's another sign that hides in plain sight. A shift so subtle you might miss it, unless you're paying close attention. Let's talk about that next. Sign number 4, persistent fatigue. There was a time when my granddad's garden was his whole world. Rain or shine, he'd be out there, trimming, planting, humming to himself. The scent of soil and sunlight seemed stitched into his skin. But one day, he skipped a morning. Then a few more. Until eventually, the garden went quiet. We'd call and ask how he was doing, and his response turned into, "Just too tired today." Even a short phone chat felt like a chore. At first, we thought, maybe he just needs rest. Maybe he's had a long week. But weeks turned into months. And that constant tiredness, it never lifted. Persistent fatigue in someone over 70 is not something to ignore. It's not just about being tired from a long day. It's a deep exhaustion that doesn't go away with sleep. That lingers even after a calm weekend or a restful afternoon. And here's what many people don't realize: chronic fatigue can be the body's cry for help. It can be tied to heart disease, undetected cancer, or even clinical depression. Sometimes it's anemia, where there's not enough healthy red blood cells to carry oxygen. Other times, it's the thyroid slowing down, or side effects from multiple medications stacking up silently over time. But families often miss it. We chalk it up to slowing down, or worse, we say things like, "Well, he's earned the right to rest all day." And yes, rest is important. But life shouldn't feel exhausting just for existing. Not every hour. Not every day. So what can you do? First, look closer. Has the tiredness been going on for weeks? Is it affecting things they used to enjoy, like cooking, walking, talking, even reading? If so, don't wait. Get their iron levels checked. Ask about thyroid function. Review medications. Sometimes the combination causes drowsiness, fog, or dizziness that feels like fatigue. And just as important, watch their mental health. Loneliness, grief, and isolation often wear the body down like a slow, silent storm. Depression in older adults looks different. Sometimes it doesn't come with tears, just withdrawal. Just stillness. Encourage light movement, stretching, short walks. Even small victories help: watering a plant, folding a blanket, stepping out into the sun. And for the mind, call more often. Invite them into little tasks. Let them know they matter, not for what they do, but because they're still here. But fatigue isn't always about the body wearing out. Sometimes, it's a sign that the mind is changing, too. Let's talk about that next. Sign number 5, cognitive changes. It started with a name. Aunt Liz, who had once knitted every grandchild's initials into their Christmas stockings, forgot the name of her youngest grandson. She smiled at him. She even reached out to fix his collar. But when she opened her mouth to say his name, nothing came out. Just a pause. And then she said, "Hey, you." It was gentle. But it wasn't her. Everyone in the room went quiet. No one wanted to overreact. But we all felt the shift. This is how it often begins. Cognitive decline isn't always dramatic. It doesn't come crashing in like a storm. Sometimes, it creeps in like fog, soft, slow, and easy to dismiss. We're used to thinking of memory loss as normal. We say things like, she's just having a senior moment, or he always misplaces things. But the difference lies in the pattern. Not just forgetting where you put the keys, but forgetting what they're for. Not just mixing up a name, but forgetting someone you love. And here's what we know from the science: early cognitive changes are linked to reduced lifespan. Not just because of memory loss, but because they affect judgment, reaction time, and the ability to stay safe and independent. When decision-making starts to slip, everything else becomes riskier. Cooking alone, taking medication, navigating traffic, even crossing the street. So what can you do? Start by being present. Listen to how they speak. Are they repeating themselves more often? Struggling with simple words? Getting confused in familiar places? These aren't things to fear, they're things to notice. Support their brain, gently and daily. Introduce brain games, crosswords, puzzles, card sorting. Start a new hobby with them. Something unfamiliar but fun, like painting, or learning a few words in a new language. Keep their diet full of brain-healthy fats, avocados, walnuts, salmon, even olive oil. And please, don't wait to schedule a memory screening. It's not a sentence. It's a tool. Catching it early gives you time to plan, support, and adjust life in a way that still feels whole. Because memory isn't just about recalling facts. It's about holding on to selfhood, to history, to the soul of who someone is. And while changes in the mind are heavy to face, there's another sign that carries its own quiet weight. Not in what's said, but in what's no longer shared. Let's talk about that next. Sign number 6, social withdrawal. He used to light up on game night. Every Friday, without fail, he was the first to shuffle the cards, crack a joke, pour the drinks. Laughter came easily around him. The kind that filled a room and made you feel like everything was okay. But then, slowly, the invites started going unanswered. He'd say he was tired. Then he'd say maybe next week. Eventually, the silence became the answer. The man who once brought the room to life now sat quietly in his chair, alone. You might think it's just preference. That someone that age is simply done with social stuff. But here's what we now understand: social withdrawal is more than a mood. It's a warning. Loneliness in older adults is linked to increased mortality, weakened immune function, and a much higher risk of dementia. The brain is wired for connection, even in its final chapters. And when someone starts disconnecting from the world, their health begins to follow. Here's what people often get wrong: they assume it's a choice. They say, he just likes being alone, or she's always been quiet. But what if it's not personality? What if it's depression? Or hearing loss that makes conversations too difficult? Or grief they don't know how to talk about? Social withdrawal can be the body's silent cry for help. And the longer it goes unnoticed, the deeper it digs in. So what can you do? Make connection easy. Start small. A phone call every morning. A 5-minute walk together. A shared show to watch each week. Even just sitting in the same room, doing nothing in particular, sometimes that's enough. And if they've pulled away because of hearing issues, mobility problems, or emotional pain, address those root causes. Help them feel safe and wanted again. Not like a burden, but like a heartbeat the family still listens for. Because when someone retreats from the world, what they often need most is to be invited back in. And that brings us to the final sign. One that's harder to measure, but just as powerful. Not in how someone walks, or eats, or remembers, but in how they see their own future. Sign number 7, optimism about the future. There's a woman I once met, her name was Doris. She was 82 years old, sharp as a tack, gentle as sunlight. And when I visited her home, you know what I saw? A dream board. Taped to the wall with pictures of places she still wanted to see, recipes she wanted to try, and a note that said, "I'm not done yet." Doris lived to be 98. And she was fully herself right up to the very end. Now, maybe that sounds like a sweet story. But here's the thing, it's not just sweet. It's scientific. Optimism is linked to longer lifespans, better immune function, lower inflammation, and faster recovery from illness. Hope literally changes the body. It reduces stress hormones. It strengthens the heart. It sharpens the mind. But too often, we dismiss it. We say, of course she's cranky, she's old. Or, at that age, what's left to look forward to? But here's the truth. The moment someone stops looking forward to anything, the body begins to agree. Purpose keeps us alive. No matter how small. So what can you do? Encourage gratitude, just one thing each day they're thankful for. Foster a sense of purpose, maybe it's writing down memories, tending to a small plant, or mentoring someone younger. Set tiny goals together, like learning a new hymn, organizing a photo album, or planning a visit, even if it's virtual. Because when someone believes their life still has meaning, the body follows suit. And sometimes, a hopeful heart is the strongest muscle we have. These 7 signs, they're not just checkboxes or symptoms. They're a story. A map of how the body and spirit are aging. Each one gives you a chance to step in, to slow the decline, to show up in love. But what do these signs really mean, for you, for them, for what comes next? Let's talk about that. It's not easy. Let's just say that out loud. It's not easy watching the people you love grow older, slower, more fragile. It catches you in the little things. The way they now grip your arm on steps. The way they stare a few seconds longer before answering a question. The way their voice softens, their routine shrinks, their world becomes smaller. And yet, in the quiet ache of that realization, there is something else waiting. Something powerful. Knowledge. Not the cold, medical kind. But the kind that says, I see you changing, and I'm going to walk with you through it. Because knowing what these signs mean, what they really mean, isn't just about predicting how long someone will live. It's about knowing how deeply we can still love them, how wisely we can care, and how intentionally we can show up. You're not just watching someone age. You're not just counting symptoms. You are shaping the quality of the life they still have. And that matters more than anything else. So if you've noticed even one of these signs, don't panic. Don't drown in worry. Just start paying attention. Check in. Gently ask questions. Be curious, not controlling. And where you can, offer joy. Because here's the truth, even small changes, tiny shifts in how you care, how you listen, how you respond, can extend not just years, but the beauty inside those years. Maybe it's one more family trip. Maybe it's one more Christmas morning. Maybe it's just one more day of laughter, sitting side by side with a cup of tea. That's what you're protecting. That's what all this noticing is for. You're not powerless. You're prepared. You're present. And love, real love, is never helpless. So hold on to that. Because the years ahead, no matter how many, can still be golden. Not because they're perfect. But because you showed up with open eyes, steady hands, and a heart full of grace. Let's carry that forward. Together. Let's take a breath and do a quick recap, because what we've covered today isn't just information, it's a guide to loving better. Watch for these 7 signs. Walking speed, is it slowing down in a way that's new or unusual? Grip strength, do handshakes, hugs, or simple tasks feel weaker than before? Appetite and weight loss, have meals become smaller, skipped, or avoided altogether? Persistent fatigue, is there a deep tiredness that lingers, even after rest? Cognitive changes. Are there new struggles with memory, words, or decisions? Social withdrawal, have they stopped showing up for the things that once brought joy? Optimism, are they still dreaming, planning, or looking forward to something? These signs aren't just symptoms. They're signals. And every one of them gives you a chance to step in, with care, with grace, with presence. Now, I want to hear from you. Which of these signs have you noticed, in someone you love, or maybe even in yourself? Leave a comment below. Let's talk about it. Let's open the door for conversations that matter. Because the more we share, the more we learn. And the more we learn, the better we care. If this video gave you something to think about, something you didn't know before, hit the like button to help others find it too. And if you're walking this road with a parent, a grandparent, a neighbor, or just planning for your own future, subscribe to Seniors Care for more grounded, heart-centered insights on aging with dignity and strength. You're not alone in this. And neither are they. Thanks for spending time with me today. Stay compassionate. Stay curious. And always remember, growing older isn't about fading away. It's about living wiser, together. I'll see you in the next one.